24. You know, questions number 24 should only be attempted by people who are getting 20 points already on the section. I would expect that this is going to be one of the hardest questions that you're going to see on the entire test. Not to say that you can't figure them out, it's just that you should have a lot of points in the bank before you get here. And if you're, you know, someone who currently is scoring 15 points, which is more like the class average, if you're scoring 15 points, you should never attempt a question number 24. Not yet. Get to 20 points and then maybe we can talk about whether you should attempt number 24. All right, so number 24, a sociologist says, romantics who claim that people are not born evil, but may be made evil by the imperfect institutions that they form, cannot be right. I'm thinking of, you know, nice people. They weren't born evil. They're nice people, but then they created the church. And then the church is an institution that is an imperfect institution, and maybe the imperfect institution of the church can make people evil. That's the story that I'm telling myself so that I can understand what they're talking about. But according to this sociologist, romantics who make this claim can't be right. Really, why? It sounds reasonable to me. Why? For they misunderstand the causal relationship between people and their institutions. After all, institutions are merely collections of people. No, but I don't misunderstand anything. I'm not misunderstanding that. I mean, I get what you're saying, but my argument is very nice people form the church. Yes, I get it that the church is just a collection of people, but the big conglomeration of people might have characteristics that the individuals themselves don't have. The whole does not have to have the exact same characteristic as the parts. I mean, that's actually a flaw that's commonly tested on the LSAT. So because the whole can have different characteristics from the individual parts, it's totally possible that perfectly innocent people could form the church. The church could then, in turn, become evil and have effects even back on the individual members. Why not? The sociologist says, well, you're misunderstanding the causal relationship. And so I guess what the sociologist is saying, no, it's the people who are evil to begin with creating the evil institution. Which one of the following principles, if valid, would most help to justify the sociologist's argument? The sociologist has specifically said that we are misunderstanding the causal relationship. The sociologist wants to prove that the people are evil and that's why they're creating an evil institution. So I'm looking for an answer that helps go in that direction. A, this is a strengthen question, because it says most helps to justify. It's a strengthen question. A, people acting together in institutions can do more good or evil than can people acting individually. That doesn't do anything. I don't think that does anything to the argument. B, institutions formed by people are inevitably imperfect. I don't see how that strengthens or weakens or does anything. C, people should not be overly optimistic in their view of individual human beings. What? Optimism I don't think has anything to do with anything. D, a society's institutions are the surest gauge of that society's values. What? What does society have to do with anything? What does society's values have to do with anything? E, the whole does not determine the properties of the things that compose it. I think that's the answer. I don't know why, but I was talking about the difference between whole, part and whole, right? Can have different characteristics. I think the reason why E is going to be the answer here is that the opposite of E would weaken the argument. I think E protects the argument from attack. Because the opposite of E would be, the whole does determine the properties of the people. And if that's true, then that would support the romantics who claim that you're being made evil by your evil institution. Yeah. One way to strengthen an argument is by defending it against a potential attack. The potential attack here is the institution necessarily affects the individuals that belong to it. E says, nope, that's not true. So easy answer. You're looking puzzled.
It sounds a little bit like the opposite of your prediction. Is it? You were kind of saying it like it would weaken their argument.
I was taking the romantics' point of view, and if I'm going to defend the romantics, I'm going to say, well, wait a minute now. The individuals can create an institution that has different characteristics. So the individuals do not have to create, their characteristics don't have to immediately imbue onto the organization they create. So they can create an evil institution without them being evil to begin with. The other way is, hey, an institution does not have to cause its members to have the characteristics of the institution. And that's exactly what E says. See, when I was reading the argument, I was trying to weaken it. But now I'm on the other team, I'm trying to strengthen it. So it's actually very parallel to how I was analyzing the argument. It's just that I'm on the other team, because I'm strengthening now instead of weakening. Hey, it's question number 24. I told you it's going to be hard.